Yeah, they are a dynamic duo, and you can tell the moment you see them playing, they are just working off of each other. If you stop one, you have to stop the other one. You try to stop both of them, someone else will step up. This Drexel offense is hard to stop, and I'm anxious to see them.
In the circle to get off and running, it's Haley Simpson and Katie Whalen, and the ball going the way of the Dragons.
Like I said, Hofstra moves the ball really well. They do share the ball, but they do have their players that they rely on to show up when needed, but they are all very much a threat when needed.
That pass goes through a couple of sticks, and who picks it up but Karson Harris. We talked about her goal scoring. She is all over the field, and what a talented player at that. And now back the other way, selfish. For Schneiderith, that's her 42nd goal. So we talked about Karson Harris. She's got 47 goals. Lucy Schneider has 42 this year. She had 3 goals the first time these two met. The time a skip pass over the middle, and that forces a shooting space. See that vision from Grady to Harris?
Yeah, it's almost hard to keep track of where the ball is if you don't know the game necessarily. I mean, they move it so well, so fast.
Here is Harris in and misses wide, same way she missed the first free position, and actually Hofstra had it backed up.
To miss 2 8-meter opportunities. So I'm sure she's going to be hard on herself a little bit. She's a competitor, so what we've heard and we can see, so we'll look for her to make that change.
Yeah, she comes into today 7 goals away from the school record of 54 in one season, so she knows how to put it in the back of the net, and Jess Smith and Hofstra dodging maybe a couple bullets there early on, see if they can take it. Defended there rather closely by Darcy Smith. Instead, it's Karson Harris who gets inside for her first of the day. It's 3-3.
There was no doubt in my mind that the ball was going to be in her stick a lot during this game. The question is, when was she going to say, you know what, I'm going to take things in my own hands? She's one of those players that when it's in her hands, she feels proud of it. She wants to be productive with it. She wants to, put the team on her back. And you can see with that dodge and that go, she didn't care if she had 1 player, 2 players on her. She was going to go hard.
And something something Jill Batchelor told us, that she doesn't feel pressure in terms of that role, right? She doesn't feel like it's a weight on her.
No, she's a workhorse. She wants to be everywhere, and she really wants to win. I mean, look at her screaming. She's hooting and hollering. She wants to win, and she has that feeling for Drexel, like this is our year. So go at it.
And one of those players that you don't even have to look at the stat sheet. When you watch a Drexel game, she sticks out, right?
Oh, yes. And that's one of the things I like to do. I like to watch a film without even having stats or names in front of me, and I'll be able to pick out what player. She was immediately one of those players where I said, this girl wants to be part of, the top of the team. Pace here.
Nice job by Shannon Boyle as Karson Harris came in with a head of steam. Shooting space there. And once again, we'll see Harris on the left side of this free position. I think the 3rd time she's gotten it there today. Harris scoring the 3rd goal for the Dragons. Here she looks for number 4, and that shot's wide. It bounces by into the stick of Grady. Harris draws the free position. She'll get it over there in the hash.
She likes that little hash over there. She's often over there, so I'm sure has mastered this hash mark.
Here she comes right into Harris. The defense played once again. Shannon Boyle's done a great job there on that side. Keep saying her name.
You can tell they have that scouted. You can tell when Grady sees that, high skip, they're ready for it. Hofstra's ready to break down their feet and stop Harris on the other side.
The circle alongside Haley Simpson. Thanks for joining us here for our CAA Game of the Week alongside Kelly Berger. I am Tom Eschen. Thanks for joining us here in what's turning out to be a great battle, a rematch between these two for Drexel, and a little quiet after that. Colleen Grady has a goal and an assist. Karson Harris just a goal here today. So those stars we talked about so much, a little bit quieter to start. Drexel didn't shoot well in the first half. Jess Smith made 5 saves.
Yeah, and Drexel, I'm sure, stressed in the locker room that everyone's
been unbelievable, especially up against Harris on that left side.
Yeah, not an easy task to go against Harris, so.
No whistle there on the break. Didn't get back fast enough for Hofstra. There was Sabrina Cristodero, so Harris will take the free position. Shooting space. Early opportunity for Harris. She drives in. The shot, score. Harris cashes in her second of the day. Just like that, 1-goal game.
I can feel her exhale on that hash mark. She's gotten that hash mark quite a few times. That's where she kind of camps out on the attacking side, and she likes that drive from that elbow. She gets herself into a position to find herself with an 8-meter, and she hasn't been able to capitalize as much as usual. And that one felt more like her. Felt more like what we've seen in the past couple games. And so she's finally feeling like, okay, maybe this is the groove she needs to get into.
Joe Batchelor said in the game against Towson, when Towson was giving them a little bit of trouble, at one point Harris went and slammed her stick, and she says she loves seeing that from her. She's sort of a quiet player off of the field, but when she gets on, she's one of those that flips a switch and kind of turns into a whole different person, which in this case is a good thing, of course.
Yeah, competitor, and you don't need necessarily a voice. She shows it in her play, and slamming her stick down, I think that's almost for herself, of just let's go, get herself fired up.
She had 7 goals in that Towson game, tying a career high. Now has 2 today. 7-6 as Drexel
coming out of halftime, and that's always your worry. You take the flow out of it, but Drexel seems to capitalize right now.
On the break, it's Karson Harris once again. Now a hat trick today. 2 goals here in the first 6 minutes of the second half.
Coach talks about how much she wants to win, how much she wants this team to be successful. And if you can see that in her shot, in any shot, it's this one. She throws her entire body as hard as she can at the goal to just put it away. She finds space. She knows she's open. She cannot let this one slip away from her. She feels like she probably already had too many slip away from her. So this is making it a game, this transition.
We said in the moment, the stop after Hofstra went up for the 2 minutes. The Drexel Dragons getting that defensive stop with a shot clock almost violation, and you can see right off the bat now it's a tie game, 7-7. A momentum shift here 5 minutes into this half as Hofstra still hasn't scored, and looks like we have a timeout there by Shannon Smith and the Hofstra side of things. So she will now take a moment to talk some things over. And what do you think about this class of these seniors, led by Harris and Grady, and the Schneiderists, of course, as well? Dietzel's also been the 3-time captain there. And I think what really stuck out to me when we talked to Joe Batchelor, Kelly, is that she goes, yeah, we've lost. We know what failure is. So when we get to these points in games, we can sort of react to that and be able to do it in the right way and move on from it.
Yeah, she said she did not want to take the foot off the gas ever. They just have to keep going and going and going. And this is another opportunity for them to recognize, okay, we have the foot on the gas. Let's keep pushing forward, knowing that there might be a couple speed bumps because Hofstra is definitely going to come back at them. But who will win that battle? And the mindset that Drexel has had all season, you can't help but know that they are going to continue to battle and keep going, just like Coach said. So I don't know, Tom. This is exciting.
In the Towson game, Drexel had 8 unanswered goals at one point. That was in the first half. They also held Towson scoreless for 20 minutes. So just to keep in mind here, that's sort of the pressure you might be under if you're Hofstra. You're like, yeah, we know this can happen. So that timeout by Shannon Smith probably talking about just that. And a new person here, Katie Whalen, she'll now take this draw against Simpson.
Yeah, and Towson has a lot of threats, right? They're very similar to Hofstra, and they have a ton of threats. So Drexel's familiar with the many threats. But again, I'll go back to Alyssa. No other team in the CAA has Alyssa, so you got to keep an eye on her.
Big draw control here after so comes out with it.
And there she is fighting on the defensive ride. I mean, she doesn't give up.
They call it footsteps, I think, at times. And Karson Harris, you can see she went to another gear when Perella was running her down.
Oh, yeah. She knew what was behind her.
Like I said, last time they played Hofstra, she had 4 goals and 2 assists. And now here's Drexel on a 4-goal run to start this second half. Battle there. Good one between Harris and Perella. And it's Harris who comes out with it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're feeling can't help but feel a little nervous on the sideline, but I have faith that Shannon Smith's going to keep it under control.
Harris comes up with another draw control. Schneidereth, you're working your way inside. I think Drexel will be content just to sort of settle this thing down and find their offense once again. Here's Harris. There's Boyle giving her all sorts of trouble. They'll call Boyle for a push, but we talked about Boyle a lot all day long, and she's had the tough task there on that left side.
There are, but she wants everyone to be a threat, and they've showed that today. I mean, they have their key players, and we've talked about this already, but they've been able to really, spread the ball, and this one is just fun to watch.
Yeah, when the ball gets in Karson Harris's stick, kind of like Perella on the other end, you sort of have to just stop and admire, because what a dodge there on the left side into the middle. 4 goals today for the senior.
And this is what we talk about when we say an unconventional movement. I mean, she has a big cradle there, but nobody can get their stick on it. And then she has enough space, just enough space to finish that shot off hip. And it's pretty cool to watch how athletic she is.
Slicing her way through that zone like it's a piece of pie or something like that.
Yeah.
The help, the slides, whatever it might be. Harris doing the job for the Dragons as they have dominated this last 20 minutes of play. They lead the second half 9-1 after trailing 7-5. So flipping the script from that first game, which they dominated the first half, and in the second half it was tied. Here, the first half was close, the second half not so much here, Kelly. Still said in that interview, and she talked about the belief they felt in their close games, like, yeah, we're almost there. She said, quote, "I'm so happy this is my life." She was so pleased just to be in this city with this team, with a lot of the same players you're watching.
Part about it is she said they're having fun. They're enjoying their time. And especially with the world that we live in now, you have to really soak that all in when you get those opportunities. And I really do think this Drexel team is doing that.
And, she came in and inherited, this class, this senior class that's graduating here today. And that's got to, for any coach that comes in, that's always difficult. But then to help this class grow and win with it instead of, you bring in your own players over the years. But I think that's also just another aspect that she's been able to sort of develop over the last couple of years. And you've seen the result here today. Final seconds tick off the clock. The Dragons improve to 11-1 here in 2021, 3-0 in CAA play. They've got their side of the conference pretty much locked up at this point. Another impressive performance, specifically in the second half today. What a run, 10-4 in the second alone. For this team, what did you see that made the difference in winning this game as Hofstra went into the locker room? And you said at the beginning of the half, you said maybe Hofstra didn't want the halftime to come, and because the second half, Drexel had something waiting for him.
I think sometimes when you have senior game and there's kind of a long warm-up and then you recognize all the seniors, which is all very necessary, sometimes that can get you a little, out of your warm-up. And I think Drexel maybe was feeling that in the first half, and they didn't look like themselves. So they came back out, and I think maybe coach reminded them of who they were and what they've done so far this year. And, like she said, they put their foot on the gas and they continue to go, and it worked in their favor. And, they finished the game. They played maybe only good 30 minutes lacrosse, but that's all that they needed.
It was a great 30 minutes at that, in my estimation, as Drexel takes down Hofstra 15-11 the final. Karson Hills for Perella. She had an assist in the loss as well. Hofstra falls on the season to 4-5. Drexel at 11-1. That does it here from Vitus Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. For Kelly Berger and our producer, Thomas McNeely, I am Tom Eschen. Thanks so much for watching our CAA Game of the Week. We'll see you next time here on Lex Sports Network.